Hi, everyone. Welcome to L'Oreal. It's a very exciting account, and this morning we're going to talk you through, give you a bit of history about the account, L'Oreal, and also the what we do for this account, and what are the opportunities in there. So maybe a quick one on the introduction to L'Oreal as a company. It's French, but it's super international. So if I go back a little bit into the L'Oreal history, is in 1909, a chemist or a scientist called Eugene Schuller started producing hair dyes, safe hair dyes, and sold it to hairdressers. Interestingly, until today, the hairdressers is still a very important business for L'Oreal. So they do hair products in the professional division into the hairdresser. Now that went on for quite a number of years into 1956. And then there is, if you go on to Google L'Oreal, you'll hear of this chairman, very famous name called François Dalle, who actually started L'Oreal in 1957 on we call it the Grand L'Oreal journey. It is all about expansion, being international, and moving to various markets. And I love the inspiration statement from him, which still lives within L'Oreal people, is savoir saisir ce qui commence. So really seize the opportunities. And then in 1988 to 2005, interestingly, there was an English man called Lindsay Owen Jones, and he had a very successful mission until 1980 to 2005. It was really to make L'Oreal the #1 in the beauty industry. And that was a very successful journey for him too. And 2006 until today, John Polago, who is now the chairman, and since 2 years is Nicola Irene, who is the new CEO. They went on that journey of diversity of beauty worldwide. And it was all about beauty for all. And very passionately, in the last 2 years, that has now gone to a more important layer and depth into beauty for all is beauty that moves the world. What it means is it's beauty that touches people, their lives, and also sustainability. So diversity, equity, and inclusion. So beauty that moves the world. That's what L'Oreal it is today. But such an amazing journey and successful. If I look at the revenues that L'Oreal, if you look at just 2012 to 2022, the revenues double. So from around 20 billion to, I think now it's 40 to 42 billion last year, where it is hugely successful. Yeah. Jacques, over to you.
Right. On this slide, you see some of their brands, some of their key brands. They now have 37 brands in their international portfolio. Obviously, they created the L'Oréal Paris brand and L'Oréal Paris, L'Oréal Professional. They are their brands, but they tend to have grown through acquisition. So on this slide, you've got some of their key brands, and they are structured, they're housed in divisions. So on the left-hand side, you've got the consumer products divisions, with some of the main products you see in supermarkets, like L'Oréal, the brands L'Oréal Paris, Garnier, Maybelline New York. They also have the luxury division, which, by the way, is now the largest division of all, equivalent to the size of the consumer products division. So two very, very significant divisions, which weight about 16 billion each. So massive. In the luxury division, you find brands like Lancôme, Kiehl's, Aesop, which they recently purchased for more than 2 billion euros. So a very rich portfolio of brands. Then you've got a division that has been renamed Dermatological Beauty, used to be Active Cosmetics, Brands such as Vichy, La Roche-Posay, CeraVe, recent acquisition, which is doing extremely well across the world, SkinCeuticals. So this is a smaller division, but which is growing extremely fast. And you've got the historical professional products division on the right-hand side, with brands such as L'Oréal Paris Professional, Kerastase, Redken, Matrix, lots of brands which you probably didn't know they belong to L'Oréal. So in addition to these four divisions, there is a research division called Research and Innovation, and I'll talk to you later about it.
Great, thank you, Jacques. And now we would like to tell you what we do today for L'Oréal. We have a few of the core members here. We've got quite a big team actually globally. There are a few who are not present today, like Stephanie, Laurent, who work on the creative. There is also Emily Dubai. We've got US team, we've got China team, and Carl, World Panel, as well as MAPT, analytics partner. But today we have Emma, also on creative, Dan, who leads the SAP-MENA region for us, but who also leads the MAPT, which is the media advertising tracking. And then we've got Irene, who's based in Australia, Sydney, and she's also the SAP-MENA for creative, but also the global, leading the global work on cultural insights. And then we've got Jacques, who supports globally and with a focus on EMEA, the L'Oréal business. But the key focus for Jacques also is innovation, which is an important business for us. So, and they're going to talk to you what we do today, but also maybe, why they are passionate about the L'Oréal account. So over to you, Emma.
Thanks, Serene. Okay, so our journey in creative began back in 2019 when cont'd France won the global TV pre-testing pitch for the consumer products division. And in that time, we have now tested over 1,000 ads with them, mainly in sort of 4 regional hubs, which operate out of Paris, the US, Singapore, and Mexico. And in that time, cont'd expertise has helped to deliver an astonishing 230% improvement in the proportion of ads that hit the action standard, which obviously L'Oréal are thrilled about, as are cont'd. And that work is now extending to the luxury and the dermatological beauty divisions, as well as moving out into digital and starting to embrace AI-based evaluation as well. And of course, with that amount of insight and testing behind us, we've been able to come up with some real fantastic opportunities to run lots of transversal meta-analyses. So I think to date there have been about 30 that have been delivered to the L'Oréal business on topics as varied as things like how to get celebrity portrayal right, with a new project kicking off on that in the next couple of weeks. They've looked into what's needed for effective YouTube content, things like the impact of advertising on mental wellness, which is obviously a pretty hot topic these days, and how to deliver things like the most effective anti-aging copy for the differing needs of a UK versus a US audience, because it might surprise people to hear that actually consumers in those two markets react very differently to those sorts of messages. And although I actually left cont'd last September to set up my own research consultancy, I'm really delighted to be able to continue delivering this kind of added value analysis on cont'd's behalf. They are actually one of my favourite clients from the 25 years that I spent at cont'd. And I think that's because they're hugely demanding, but incredibly appreciative of all and any effort made to go the extra mile. They really are very, supportive of that and very welcoming to that sort of work. Crucially, though, they're actually happy to invest additional budget in strategic work. They never trot out that argument that clients often do, which is that consultancy should be delivered for free based on the amount that they already spend on everyday projects. And in fact, I think I would estimate that they are spending around 300,000 euros a year extra in this kind of meta-learnings work, which is obviously fantastic. It makes for a highly constructive, fulfilling relationship on both sides, which is based on strong mutual respect, which I think is really important. And long may it continue, is what I say.
Thank you, Emma. And over to you, Irene.
Thanks, Emma. That's a great segue into what I have to talk about. So while creative has been super successful, I think beauty has a certain element of being cherished for years. But I think somewhere in the mid 90s, when I was growing up, beauty was looked at something which was frivolous, something which was not to be taken seriously. It's something that women did. I was happy to see the transformation somewhere in the 2000s. And I guess I jumped onto the bandwagon pretty quickly, knowing very well that with a brand like L'Oreal, which talks about beauty that moves the world, there's more to be done. So a large part of the work that I do, in addition to the creative work in APAC, is around culture. We've done pieces of work based out of Asia, not just across Asian markets, but markets like Brazil, Mexico, parts of Europe, the United States. And all of this has been focused on creating content and enabling content which is rooted in culture. Because we do believe that creatives have a larger role to play. One, in terms of connecting people through cultural insights, and two, in terms of bringing about cultural change. So it's with great pride that we anchor this work here and work across our partners in various countries to bring out those insights. So whether it's about understanding masculinity or decoding femininity and the modern context in which it needs to be portrayed, or unpacking what true representation looks like beyond, going beyond tokenism, sustainability, and what are the key anchors within sustainability. So there's a plethora of different kinds of concepts that we tackle at a fundamental level so as to build a corpus of knowledge for L'Oreal, which they can take across different brands. So whether it's Maybelline that you're talking about, or Garnier, or L'Oreal Paris, and all of this is intended to enable that content uplift that Emma was referring to ensure that the content really works well and they have the consumer at all times at the heart of it. And not just that, they are actually making the world a better place for beauty and for all. So yeah, I'm really happy to be part of this team. And I think the client, as Emma said, is absolutely fantastic to work with. They're appreciative. They're constantly pushing you to be better than you were yesterday. And I think that goes in keeping with Kantar behaviors. So there might be times when they will question you and they will encourage you to push the envelope a little more, push the insights a little more. Considering I'm based out of Australia, I do late night calls, 2 a.m. calls, but absolutely no complaints because I joyfully do that, considering it's such a delight to work with them. I hope that continues, and I hope they continue to grow their business and allow us to prosper along with them. Thanks, Serene.
Thanks, Irene. Over to you, Dan.
Thank you, Serene. So I'm just going to put up a slide from my side just to talk through the MAPT program, which stands for Media and Advertising Performance Tracking, which is one of the biggest programs we run for L'Oreal globally. So I'm based in Malaysia, which is the reason I'm kind of involved in MAPT is we hub a lot of the governance for the program globally from our Singapore office. So although the program is run mainly locally in markets, it's a localized program, which is of a lot of value for all the local L'Oreal teams. The L'Oreal structure, where they have a regional and a global team, means they want some level of consistency across the markets in terms of the measures that we run and the reporting that we do. So that governance is run from our Singapore team, who I work very closely with here in the SAPMENA region. So MAPT is a big program now. We're really proud of the way it's really scaled up. It's now a $3 million program for us globally, covering 14 markets, over 50 categories. So the L'Oreal's main categories, skincare, makeup, we cover in almost every market, but we cover other categories like hair care, hair color. We're getting into fragrances now. And a couple of others. So there's a real increase in the scale that we've built over the years. It's historically started in the SAPMENA region, which is a region that runs, I always talk about it as running from Australia in the east to Morocco in the west. So it's kind of like a very diverse band of different markets that runs across that very diverse set of regions. And that's the heartland, but we also run the study in Latin America, parts of Africa, and some markets in Eastern Europe as well. In terms of working with the team, I think what really makes L'Oréal rewarding is the level of partnership that I think Emma and Irene have referred to. There's a real sense of, they do push us, but there's a strong level of trust. There's a strong belief in the advisory skills that we can bring, and a lot of listening to what we're going to say to have impact on their business. So you can see that in some of the feedback on this slide about the great feedback that we have, which is what makes the work really rewarding and worthwhile. And we're starting now to use MAPT. On the right-hand side, you can see some of the analytics, like the brand structures analytics that we do, to add on additional layers of analytics that can really enhance the actionability of the work. So the brand structures analysis helps us to tell L'Oréal how to create stronger creative stories, how to build their storytelling in their creative. So it very much comes together with all the work that Emma does on the creative testing and all the work that Irene does in terms of cultural understanding. So actually, although we're talking separately here, a lot of this work comes together overall. And that's the main things I wanted to say. So it's a great program. It's got a lot of senior buy-in from a lot of people in L'Oréal. They really value the insights, and I think it'll be something that we can continue to scale up for a lot of time to come. That's it from me. I'm going to hand back to Serene and then on to Jacques, I think.
Thank you. Over to you, Jacques.
Thank you, Serene. Well, we do the work we've been talking about is with the brands directly. So the divisions, the brands, the brand teams, and we do some innovation with these teams. Although they do have protocols, quite complex one. Some of them are with competitors. But we've been successful in innovation more with a division called Research and Innovation. They are brand agnostic, so they were not on the first slide when we looked at the portfolio of brands of L'Oréal. They are brand agnostic, and they basically work with the scientists. L'Oréal, amongst the 86,000 people working for L'Oréal, there are lots of scientists, research labs, and so on. So Research and Innovation works with the labs and the innovation directors to find unmet consumer needs and develop new products. Then only they will sell these internally to the brand teams. With this division, R&I, we have developed a strong partnership over the years. They started to be more consumer-centric and built a CMI function, and we accompanied them with some very large programs. Very interesting because it was a company that was mainly driven out of France historically, but they've built hubs, research and innovation hubs across the world. Increasingly, they want to understand what makes consumers tick across the globe and want to launch products that will be created in China, be created in India or in the US for the rest of the world. So we've co-developed protocols with them over the years, tweaking some of our methodologies, tweaking concept evaluate to test early stage, unbranded, unpriced concept across the globe, launching product diagnostic, a massive measurement, benchmarking project, helping those scientific guys talk a similar language to marketing. So we've built bridges in terms of the methodologies, the metrics, how we measure brands, between those two very important parts of the L'Oréal business. So for us, this is very rewarding. I think for our teams, it's very rewarding, doing things which have a massive impact on L'Oréal, on the way they operate, on the way they make progress internally. We've had L'Oréal teams coming to our offices and telling us and telling our teams, operations, client service, everyone about the impact the work has on their company. And I think this is really, really rewarding. You've heard from my colleagues, how it is. They are demanding, but really, being part of their success, making sure that, they move and they stay ahead of the beauty market is just, really, really a great way of spending time at Kantar.
Thank you. Thanks, Jacques. Thanks, everyone. It's amazing to have this amount of passion And for myself, I think before I show the last slide, for myself, it's really what I enjoy. I think they are really ahead of the industry as they, it's a very important mission for them. In terms of digital transformation, I've learned heaps throughout the last 8 to 10 years. So digital transformation journey was with L'Oreal, not started a few years ago, but really was in 2014 to be exact. All right, so we'll end with our one-to-one. What is our biggest, what is L'Oreal's biggest challenge? 2 opportunities and top priority for us. So the one biggest challenge, I always kept this phrase from somebody within L'Oreal who says, we never really have burning platforms. It's all about continue to find new growth to stay ahead of the industry. And you see this in the annual reports year after year. It's all about staying ahead of the industry, the beauty industry. And 2 opportunities. You've heard already also about what we do currently for them. The opportunity is really to scale creative excellence and also effectiveness to other divisions. We mainly work for consumer products division, so opportunities to scale to the luxury and the dermatological beauty division. And also to establish and embed global partnership on digital content testing with both CMI and the CDO teams, where we do have a very strong relationship with. The second one is Steel, the brand tracking from Ipsos. They've had it for more than a decade, and it's not easy to pull away, and we will not be able to do this via typical BHT brand tracking. So it's about really how we're going to redefine and redesign brand tracking and evaluation. This is a more mid to longer term still, 18 months to 2 years, but it's on our agenda. And our top priority, I would say, it's creating an increasing business share in recurring and embedded solutions, less ad hoc, more recurring programs. So this, we want to really achieve 70% of our business to be recurring and embedded. And maybe just to mention on our Spark for L'Oreal, which is aligned with theirs as well, is most meaningful data. We are also seen as the, with big potential, as the data accelerator partners for L'Oreal. And then winning together. It's really about winning together. It's a company that moves fast, very entrepreneurial, and it's all about growing and winning together every year. Thank you so much for listening to us, and we hope you will join us and on this, motivated to join us all on this journey with a highly successful L'Oreal client.